How did Superman get infected during Deceased? Well, it started off right after Captain Atom exploded. Wonder Woman and Superman tried getting him as far away from Earth as possible, but failed to get him away far enough to not cause any damage. And because they were unsuccessful, 3 cities including Washington, Baltimore, and Metropolis were completely annihilated. Millions and millions of people died, but luckily the heroes and main group of survivors were still alive because Green Canary projected a huge force field around the building they were on. After that, the comic cut over to the Flash, Wonder Woman, and Superman, taking down all major servers and mass digital broadcasting devices so that the infection would only be able to spread through blood. Later on, Wonder Woman went over to the Mascara where she was able to convince Hippolyta to shelter people on their lands because after what happened with Captain Atom, so many people had nowhere to go. Meanwhile, Gotham City was being protected by Poison Ivy. She created a giant thorn-filled wall that the zombies couldn't penetrate, and when Canary, Oliver, and Damian went over there to ask her if they could shelter people inside of it, an infected Killer Croc came flying at them from the shadows in an effort to infect them. But he was quickly put to a stop and killed by Poison Ivy herself, and then after some negotiating, Harley Quinn and the team were able to convince her to let people stay there. The story then shifted over to the Fortress of Solitude, which was now the new Hall of Heroes, and upon getting all the heroes together, they started making tons of progress. Yeah, there were disagreements here and there about how they should carry on in their new post-apocalyptic world, but they were also saving and sheltering tons of survivors, building new aircrafts that would allow them to escape Earth, and just simply taking time to grieve with each other. But then came yet another dark day when from out of the blue, a zombified Martian Manhunter used his invisibility to enter the Fortress of Solitude, where he would proceed to kill Lex Luthor and infect the Flash. Thankfully, he wasn't able to do much more after that though, because Firestorm killed him with a giant fire blast. But then the heroes realized that the Flash was gone. He was infecting people around the world faster than they could have ever imagined, and Superman knew that he was the only one who could stop him. He wouldn't be able to catch up to him, but he could meet him on the other side. And when the two forces finally clashed, Barry's body bursted into pieces, and before he could even grieve his loss, Superman realized that Barry's fingers were jammed into his lower abdomen. He knew that he was infected, but it took some time for it to fully consume his entire body, giving him the opportunity to say one last emotional goodbye to John and Lois before being forced to leave the planet. He tried flying to a far enough point for his oxygen supply to get cut off, but unfortunately before he could do so, the virus consumed him, and the world's most powerful superhero was one of them. But sadly, that's when the issue comes to an end, so if you want to see what happens next, let me know in the comments down below.